Hola, hello, I am Pepe the King Prono Guy.
Oh, that's so f***ing cool. And that's how we completely destroy a power board on a Leader 120. Nice.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about ButterFlight. ButterFlight is a new branch off of BetaFlight that some of the developers are going into in order to continue the work that they've been doing on some of the filtering. So I, as a reviewer, decided that it's kind of my duty for y'all to give it a try. I'm going to load it up on the Leader 120, which, by the way, if you look in your upper right, you will see I'm giving away a Leader 120. Leader 120 is one of the best models that has been put out in 2017 and still valid right now. So if you're interested, go ahead and click that link, leave a comment, and subscribe on that video, and you'll be entered into the contest that is happening on the 13th of this month. Now, I am going to be showing some footage at the end, and that's going to be coming from my VTX because I'm unable to mount really any camera on the Leader 120 because the VTX whip antenna is on the front of it, which is kind of in the way of everything without modding it, which I'm not going to do. However, the Firefly Mini Action Cam is a great camera if you're looking for a camera for micros. You can look in your upper right-hand corner. I've reviewed that, and it's a great camera. But let's go ahead and get down to what we're doing today. So the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go to the ButterFlight website, and hopefully you can see that in the upper right hand corner. It's www.butterflight.co. Let's talk about first what the Kalman filter is. Now, I have gone to Mr. Bardwell's page where you can read what that filter is all about, but ideally it's an algorithm filter that is going to do some samplings and anticipate what's going to happen, which for us should help alleviate prop wash and things like that from our quads. So this is what they were adding to BetaFlight, and BetaFlight has now been put on pause as far as feature upgrades go. And I can't remember, but I think they might have removed this option. But other people wanted to continue on that path, and this group has pulled off to the side, promising to do modify the interface, give us things like wizards and things like that, and push the project more toward an easier use for new pilots. Like I admit myself, I'm not one of the pilots that have been around for a long time. I'm not a reviewer that's been around for a long time, and I like to think of myself much like a lot of the new guys coming in. And I'm trying to show you the things that are important to us new guys. And if this, I'm going to follow it on this one quad, and if this works out the way we hope, we're going to end up with a much easier interface, much more user friendly for the new guys coming in, where they don't have to know a lot about as much about electronics and the things that it's doing. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how to go ahead and install it. Now, just note that you can back out of this if you choose after you've done it and put BetaFlight back on your quad without any trouble. But going through the site, when you get there, you can read about what the project's about, what they're doing, and so on and so forth. And you can see what you're going to need to do to load these filters. This particular part of the site, they're talking about what they needed to remove and they didn't feel was necessary in BetaFlight, and what they're adding as part of theirs and what they plan to do with it. You can see it runs a configurator just like BetaFlight. And as you can see right now, it is basically the same interface with a little bit of a different facelift on it, because they don't have the features yet that they plan to do in there, because this just happened. This has just come out. So to get it, you can click that button. But let's look first at activating the filter once you get it on. So once you get it on, as always, first take your quad into BetaFlight, do a dump. Save that dump into a Word file, and make sure you keep that dump for down the road. But once you're in there, in the CLI, if you just want to try it stock, all you're going to do is go in, first set the first chunk of code down to save in CLI, press enter, then do the second chunk of code in the CLI and press with to the save and press enter. It's in 2 steps. And that will load the filter on and have it active. Um, Here again, it's more information about what they're doing and so on and so forth. But to get it, you just simply click that Get ButterFlight config, and then it's going to take you to a download site. And if you're using 64-bit, you want to do that one. If you're using 32-bit, you want to use that one. Click it. Click download. There's no BS, buy this ad, things like that. It's going to show up in your downloads. I'm on Chrome, so that's what you're seeing is the Chrome interface. If you, once it's done here, you're going to click it, and that'll run it. Like I said again, I made sure that I could back out after I did this and put BetaFlight back on. And what I do, again, I don't know if it's 100% right, but what I do is once I've loaded, first I put my dump in and make sure I get all my name and my PIDs and all that stuff back into the system, and then I run that code for adding the filters on, so that way kept what I've had and I've loaded what I want now. So the load process is easy again. There's nothing unsafe about it. They're not going to load anything into your browser. It's just going to load the configurator onto your system. As you press launch, it'll launch. Build websites for a living. Got a lot of stuff on my desktop. So as you can see, configurator looks exactly like it does before, and if you didn't copy those filter for the CLI, it's right there. Also, you want to make sure you did do a version on, and look on your dump at the top is your version to make sure when you set your board in Flash that you do that. But you load the correct load to your thing. Some people have to have a button that they need to push on their board. Mine on the Leader 120 doesn't. If you have the Leader 120, it's a good one to use. But you load it and then you flash your system, and then you'll be able to see your quad once you go ahead and connect it. You'll see your port. There we go. Then you can connect to your quad. And here we are, same interface right now, as you can tell. And here I'll go into the CLI. First thing I'm going to do is get version. This you wanted to do beforehand, as I mentioned, so you make sure you know when you flash the system that you're flashing to the right type that you need, which mine is just straight omnibus. Then I do a dump. You grab everything from the bottom up to, it's not going to take the number sign, so right below that, and I just grab that and I copy it all and I paste it in, just do a simple Word doc on your, I use Notepad on your desktop. I just created a simple Notepad doc that's called right there, as you can see, dumps, and I paste them in, labeling it which craft it is, and I keep a dump of all my crafts so that anything I should do, which is more than likely going to happen, screwing it up that is, I can come back and I can take all that, go into the CLI and add it all in. Make sure when you add things in, when you're done, you type in save and enter to save what you've added. Said you just copy all of it. They do recommend you do it in sections, so if you want to do safe, do it section by section of the dump. I have yet to run into problems, but it is known that if you dump the whole dump, sometimes it will cause issues. So IDIS failed right there, as you saw. You definitely want to make sure you type in save and enter after that. I wasn't concerned because I had already done it, and I was just re-showing what happens. But make sure you type in save and enter to save it. So I'm copying the first chunk. Fortunately, I have to connect again. Sometimes I'm working faster than my quad's rebooting, so if you see it, and I don't know if it's a bug or not, but it happens often. You press connect, it says connecting, it doesn't go in, and you have to do it again. So go into the CLI. We're going to add in that first chunk. We're going to go back out because it's rebooting again. It does after every time you press save. Click save. Don't press save on the right. That's to save a copy of the file. You type in save. So we're going to grab the second chunk, and the same thing again. I'm operating faster than the system does, so I got to connect twice, and or it's a bug. I'm going to go into CLI, I'm going to paste in that second piece, and I'm going to save it. So now we've got the filter activated. We've got everything set. We've put the version on, which is I think 3.3 when I was doing it. Now we can just go in and check everything. Now, I wanted to go straight up stock on this thing. I wanted to show you guys the PIDs that are in it by default, everything the way the filter, as you saw, it was setting things when we put it in. So it's setting air mode always, things like that, for us in entering that code in the beginning. So I didn't want to alter any of that. And for my dump, I have everything set the way it was before, craft name. You'll see as we scroll down here what we're looking at for features that are on there. You see I'm not running a lot of features, minimal features, but you can see it did turn on air mode, and it did turn on some of those filters that it wanted. So I'm just going to leave it alone. Um, Initially here, I went. I don't usually leave air mode on all the time. I control it with my motor speeds and things like that. Because I've had issues with air mode on the bench, so sometimes I don't use it. So I changed it, but I will come back and turn it back on because I wanted to do it, exactly how they had it. So pressing on and waiting for connections. Smoking some vape. Now when I come in, I'm going to check all my auxes and make sure my auxiliary switches are all still set, so I can not get out there and have missed that these things haven't changed. But it's worth going through every tab and make sure in the upper right hand corner you always turn on expert mode so you can see and manipulate all the things you have turned on. But as you can see, I went back and turned on air mode because I was like, nope. Let's do this the right way. Let's do it just how they planned, which was load this up and run. And we're going to connect again. Sorry, that's boring. Trying to make this as minimalistic as possible. Again, Mr. Bardwell has details all over his site if you want to know the nitty-gritty nerdy stuff. But as you can see here, this is the PID tune out of the box. This is how they've tuned it on Profile 1. I've gone and in Profile 2, as you can see, it's pretty close to what I'm currently flying. And I also have another set of PIDs that I did not load on this that use a ton of RC rate, which I can show you here. I use a lot of Expo and stuff, and what it does, it flattens it out, and nothing happens for deflection in the midpoint for me because sometimes I'm a little janky in my flying. I'm not the greatest pilot in the world. I'm going to tell you that right now. I like to store and throw in a few things, but I'm not Mr. I can't jump around with the tricks every 5 seconds. It makes me want to hurl. So this particular setup in the PIDs gives you the ability to kind of screw up in the middle and just have hard reactions out on the ends. So snappy flips, but a little more in the middle, a little, I guess, idiot-proof in the center. Thank you, Mr. Botgrinder, for showing us the PIDs. Not that Botgrinder's an idiot, just Those are his PIDs, I'm not going to lie to you. The other ones are Ladrib's, the smooth ones, and number one, of course, is default. So I'm going to, again, like I said, I want to show you guys and show you what it is out of the box. So I'm going to go with out of the box for my PID setups. You want to make sure all these filters are off. It says that in the notes. If you're going to use the filter set code that I showed you, you're going to want to shut these off. Um, I'm just going to go in and make sure my radio is working properly as well. Make sure everything. I found the low end of the stick was set to like 1100, which is not normal to me. It's usually 1015, so I fixed that. My BetaFlight is pretty much set up where it's going to be. Kind of turning on some things here because I will be going to Quad Camp Sarasota and I will be reviewing that as well and hopefully see if that's worth y'all's dollar. Um, so I'm thinking about taking this with me because again the Leader 120 is just such a phenomenal craft that it is really good training craft. And again, if you don't have one, it's one of the cheapest models out there. And again, I'm giving one away at the beginning of the video. You can backtrack and click that link. But monkeying around in here a little bit. This is, as you can see, 100% like BetaFlight still. So right now, that's simple enough. Nothing to change in motors, nothing to change on this end. All those things are the same. I've got a battery strap, so my craft is tilted sideways due to the battery strap. But that's about it. So now we're gonna go, into some flight video. Flight video is boring if you don't want to watch it. Again, like I said, I'm not the greatest pilot in the world, but I could see a difference right off the bat. It definitely is smoother. And again, I've not, and I don't think I'll ever be, these pros. So, but I like I said, I like to soar around a lot more than throwing in tricks every 5 seconds and stuff. And I do throw in some things, but I guess where I noticed it is things like that where I dropped and came back up. Usually I'd run into a massive amount of oscillation and stuff, which I just didn't run into. Everything was silky and, as it's called, buttery to fly. So um, I don't think that it's going to be this experience. I guess what I'm trying to say is that this experience, the flight experience, is going to be yours and yours alone. Everybody's different. That's kind of the fun of the hobby is everybody flies their own way. Everybody wants to do things their own way, and we've been given the tools to do that. So PID settings, you can try your own previous PIDs if that's going to be more helpful to give you the difference between the two. For me, as a reviewer, I flew 5-inch all yesterday, getting flight footage of the Chameleon TI that I reviewed. Talk about wonderful quad, oh my god. But, so I'm flying 5-inch yesterday, and, reactions are different and so on. But, so flying so many different crafts, it makes it hard to be a Lidrib or something like that, because my experience from day to day is not on the same craft. It's on different ones that operate different ways. So, enough excuses of why I suck. However, this is the tune, like I said, that comes out of the box, and it's a great tune. I found it to be perfectly flyable. And again, maybe it's because I'm using other PIDs that are so similar, but everything about it was silky smooth. At some point here, I'll end up on the ground because I could hear my battery strap starting to get snacked by the propellers, so I kind of came in for an emergency landing to fix that. But otherwise, everything I felt a lot, besides this being a great craft and you're in control with it, I felt more in control, which is kind of shocking when you were already pretty much in control. I planned to follow the project with just this quad, but I'm thinking I'm going to put it on a 5" as well. And again, I have every range of them, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, and multiples of those sizes. So I might pick a couple crafts that I'm going to follow this on. And if it continues to feel as good as it does, there you go. That was my, oh shit, what's that snapping sound I hear? If it continues to feel this good, I'll switch to it completely as long as they keep the project going. And maybe it was a placebo. I don't know. But hell, if you aren't feeling good about your flying and you want to take a placebo that makes you feel good all of a sudden, this might be it. But like I said, I felt it immediately and have been pleased with doing it. So, but I wanted to get it out there right away. It's a new project. I wanted to show you that there's really nothing to be concerned about, especially at least on this model. I'm sure somebody else would tell you, oh, you can't blah blah and da 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 with this and whatever. Fine, cool. But in my example, it didn't blow my quad up. I did. My motors were ice cold coming in, and I was doing punch outs and stuff and running my batteries to the ground, and it was great. Didn't overheat anything, didn't burn anything up, which is I'm sure what most people's concern are is I don't want to do this and burn my craft up. In my case, I can't promise you the world. In my case, no damage done. Everything was good. I put um, Jesus, I put probably 6 packs through this morning. No footage better than the other, thus this one. But I had a great run, and I forgot to turn on my DVR on my goggles. So go figure. But check out any reviewer, and they've all done it. Trust me, and they all crash too, by the way. So my crash sessions, as I'll call them, are nothing out of the ordinary for anyone. But again, there you go. There's a crash. But like I said, don't be concerned. Feel free to give it a shot if you want to, and follow the project. Maybe you don't want to get into it now, but you can get into it later. And thanks for watching the channel, guys. Appreciate your time.